Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Cindy Daychuck here with Queen Bee Creations. I am doing this video because I found these. So these are little plastic ornaments in the shape of Christmas lights. And what I thought that I would try is doing an alcohol ink ornament with it, but ultimately I want to use the kind of the little piece that goes in here as a means of wiring on actual lights. So I want to do it so that it's kind of Christmas tree light friendly. So a couple things. I mean, obviously the alcohol in the alcohol inks is flammable, and because I don't know how hot those little lights get, right? These little guys, I don't want to risk it. Now, I'm assuming they don't get hot enough to melt the plastic, but I don't know. So, know that going in. If I could have found glass ones, I would have. These are plastic. I'm thinking that it's not an issue, but I don't know. So if you try this, I would test it out first. What I have done is I have tested out the alcohol inks and the products that I'm using and put them in a dish and put a barbecue lighter to them to make sure that they don't catch on fire. So none of those things are flammable. I read the back of everything, but I just like to double check on my own. So my only hesitation is that these are plastic ornaments. That's it. So I don't know. But what we're going to do is we're going to pop that out, that we can put it back in after, and we're going to take some alcohol inks. Now, I have a number of alcohol ink ornament videos. One that's just doing the big ornaments in a very similar process to what we're going to do. I've got one with glitter. I'll post the links to all of those. But we're just going to, let's try a couple here. Let's do, what do we want to do color-wise? Who knows? Let's try a raspberry. Oh, indigo, you're probably very strong. Oh, you're an indigo too. And we'll try a raspberry and an amethyst and maybe a yellow. So what we do want to do, now I did try this with a straw. I tried it with my, just my electric blower. Still, the best option is canned air. You can get this now in dollar store, so it's not hard to get, but to blow the ink around inside the ornament, to kind of dry the alcohol a little bit faster and better, it just works great. So, you know, I would go with it. So with the alcohol inks, these are obviously alcohol based. The alcohol evaporates, leaves the ink behind. So what we want to do is drop a little bit of the alcohol ink in there. Not a lot. You can see there's not a lot happening here, because we're then going to kind of blow it around. And these little ornaments have a flat lip here. So if you get lots of the ink in, it's really hard to get it out because it all just sits on that flat edge. So go slow, go cautiously, do a little at a time. It's not my normal style, but that's my recommendation. So I'm going to take a little bit of purple, which is a much stronger color. So I'm just going to do two little blobs of that. Shooting that around. Let's maybe add some yellow. And you could just keep adding the two colors, whatever you want to do. Now, my original idea was to leave these translucent like this. So let's just try it like that. So my original thought was to leave it translucent and then kind of just attach lights to it. And that's still a viable option, right? Where you could have this on the tree, have the light shining through it, and you get these multicolored lights on your Christmas tree. And because they're larger, they're gonna look like lit up ornaments. So very cool. However, I wasn't sure, let me just unplug those for now. I wasn't sure how well they would show. So what I did do is, and I just want to wait for this one to dry a little bit more before I show you, was I did add a backing, a very thin white acrylic. So it's very thin. You can actually see it kind of streaking because I don't want it to be fully opaque. If it was fully opaque, then, and I've still got these drying, so you can still see there's a little bit of just that acrylic leaking out of there. So we'll leave those over there drying. But we want this to be well and truly dried. Nothing's moving. All the alcohol has evaporated. And then what we will do is add a little bit of acrylic. This is just white acrylic paint. It just happens to be big economy classroom size. And I'm just putting a little dollop of paint in there. You can see just a little dollop. And I'm going to dilute it. I'm using Fusion Gloss top coat. It's a water-based top coat. It's acrylic-based, is water-based. The acrylic is water-based as well. And I'm doing this, I'm diluting that thick acrylic down a lot because I don't want it to be, in my original video, I just did a tinge of water just to move it. It was a much heavier coat of the acrylic. And so it almost makes the balls opaque. And we don't want that. If we're adding that little bit of that backing to it, we want this to come out. We want that excess out. We want that to kind of drain. You can see the difference from the translucent to that white backed ornament, that you get stronger, much more defined colors. But if I had that acrylic really thick, it's going to be opaque, and it's great to hang as an ornament then, but we're not going to get any light shining through. So by way of contrast, look at how thin the coating is on this. So that white has gone in and kind of backed it so that we can see the colors, but we did it thin enough that we're getting all that excess rolling out of the ornament so that it starts, oh, I don't want it rolling in that ink though. So we want to drain all that excess out of there. We want that to drain out. We want it to dry so that we're getting a much, much thinner coat of that white. We want it to kind of stick in places, but we still really want that translucency. So you can see through the bulb still. That's what we're after with this. If it was that really strong opaque, it's not going to light its way through. So this one is going to have to sit and drain a lot longer. We want them to be fully dry before we put their lids on them, and then we'll use that to attach on. So you can see that we've got that little wire. We'll be able to pop the light down in there, but then we can attach a little bit of wire if we wanted to be able to hold that onto that chain. So I'm gonna get a couple more done because they're addictive and because I want more than 3 lights on my little row. And you could do them so that they were all the same color. You could have it so that they're all kind of coordinating. You could have it so that they are all completely different. And I'm kind of going for different because I just want to see the different look of these things. So here I've got a light green, it's a citrus. And so one of the things that I will do is, because I'm doing them different, is just one little drop right at the tip there. Because I'm doing them different, I'm going to do all the alcohol and let those all definitely dry and air dry. Then I'll go and I'll add all of the acrylic and top coat. And I'm using a Fusion Tough Coat in gloss on the inside. And I'm using enough of it to be able to create the thinning that I need, but also it's gonna seal. And I definitely tried setting fire to it, it doesn't burn. Okay. And I might want to add a little extra color to that one. So the green and the blue and a green and a blue and a, I don't know. Maybe I'll do another blue. No, maybe I'll do a honeycomb, kind of a caramely color. Let's see how that goes. Just a little of that on both sides. All right, I'm going to put that off to the side, let that dry, and I'm just going to continue. You can see this one just keeps draining. And that's what we want to see. I want to get it so that all that excess comes out, that it's pretty translucent looking. So I've just got that thin film that helps it stand out, but I want to have that translucency that's going to allow the light to really shine through. Otherwise, what's the point? So again, we are just adding a little bit. Oh, put that cap on tight. So a little bit of just an acrylic white, nothing major. And then I'm adding some top coat. I'm using clear top coat. You can kind of see that's how much I've added so far. And I just want to shake that up and mix it around. I'm thinking I'm going to need more top coat because I think that this is too thick of a look. I want to see how much is still moving around in there. I want that movement still because I want a lot of it to exit my ornament. Exit. So I'm going to add a little bit more, and this kind of dilutes it even more, right? It just kind of serves to wipe away some of the excess, but you can see like those colors start to pop as soon as you do that. And that started pouring out, which is perfect. This guy's not quite done yet, so I'll put him on the paper, let him continue. I got a little bit out the top, but that's what we're looking for with this. We don't want it to be, we don't want that fully opaque look. If I was just doing ornaments, then I do. I want it to be opaque. I want it to sit in there. I want that nice, even coverage. But for this, I want it to kind of make some of the colors pop. Whoa, didn't have my finger over that very well. Too busy talking. So I want some of the colors to pop, but I don't want, I have a lot of the top coat on the outside. I can feel it's pretty slippery. I want the colors to pop, or you could just leave them translucent if you like that look. Oh my goodness, this one's pretty dramatic looking. But I want a lot of it to pour out. But now we're just waiting. We're letting all of this dry. I do go back and double check and make sure that they continue to drain. So even these ones that I thought had drained a lot out are still draining. So we're gonna keep draining them all, and then we'll pop on some lights and we'll see what they look like. Our little ornaments have dried, and I put the little lids on them. And you can see that they're still fairly translucent. I will say that there are some little streaks, perhaps a little more noticeable in this one. And you see the little spotting from the acrylic. So ways to get rid of that. I think what you could do is pre-mix the acrylic with your top coat, and then just have it in a little squirt bottle to be able to squirt in there. And then that way it's going to be smoother of a finish. The idea with this though is that we can't have it super strong. Like we can't have it super opaque, and otherwise then we lose that wonderful color translucency. Without that backing, they're just not, the light isn't bright enough to really bring out the colors. Let me just plug this in. And what I would do with this is, let's start from the tip, is, you know, kind of start every other. Now, if you put enough wire in there, it's going to hold for my purposes right now. I would probably just take a little bit of wire, or you could do a pipe cleaner and just attach it to the loop. But you can already see how much brighter that is, even with my overhead lights going on. So, you know, any of them start to really pop with that light being added. And I think that these would look absolutely stunning on a tree with all the different colors and patterns on them, and just the variation that you get. I mean, you can never, even if you're doing exactly the same colors in all of them, no two are going to be identical, right? There's just no way. I was wondering why that one wasn't working very well. I've got the light coming right out of it, not down into it. Oh, it looks so much better when the light's inside. I tell you. So even some of these dark ones, right, or seemingly dark, the slightly more organic colors look wonderful once they're lit up. So, you know, kind of play with the colors and kind of get them going whichever way. I'm going to take these home tonight, I think, just so that I can take a picture of them completely in the dark for you, because it's still daylight out here. Even if I shut off the lights, it's not going to go perfectly dark. And that way you'll be able to see. So a couple of things about these. Certainly, if you decide not to use the white as a backing, then definitely still do the top coat in there. So you want to make sure it's non-flammable, but do the top coat, because the alcohol ink isn't sealed, and then that way it becomes a little bit more permanent in your lights. I would, if you're doing the white backing on them, I mean, look at how lovely that is. They're just beautiful. So if you're doing the white, which I would pre-mix it. So that's my learning from doing it the way that I did, which is the same way I do the balls, but because they're so much more opaque, you don't get that streaking, you don't see that. So I would pre-mix the acrylic with some of the top coat to really thin it down and use that to just kind of make them pop. And I think then the acrylic is going to be mixed up more evenly, and you're not going to have some of those little gatherings of the ink that are kind of hanging out in there, right? But just, you know, another way that when I saw these kinds of little ornaments, I thought, wouldn't that be wonderful to have the lights inside of the alcohol ink ornaments to really make those colors pop? And they're just beautiful. I love this. Let me know what you think. I always enjoy hearing from you. I'll take a pic in the dark and in the light for you. You get the contrast. You can see what it looks like. And let me know your thoughts and your feelings. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. As always, until then, take care.